Hey guys, Sax here. Today I have a special video for you guys. About a week ago, I was able to have a long and in-depth conversation with a returning Destiny 2 player who saw one of my videos on TikTok and decided he wanted to try D2 again for the first time since Destiny 2 Vanilla. In this conversation, we discuss all sorts of subjects from how the new armor system works, how to focus your drops through Ghost Shell mods, how to optimize your power grind using the portal, and finally, helping him build out his first subclass build top to bottom. I found the questions he asked to be extremely insightful, and I'm thankful for the time we spent just chatting and getting to expand the broader Destiny community. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast style video, so sit back, relax, feel free to just listen as you complete stuff in game or chores around the house. And until next time, be blessed. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. This game is just, it's gone mad.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think the last time I played this was before, like, on the original, before any DLCs came out for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I've had a read up, and apparently I don't even, like, there's stuff I won't even have access to now.
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is if you bought the campaign, like, you bought the original game back in, I believe it was 2020, when they did Beyond Light, they ended up getting rid of a bunch of stuff because they said the game was getting too bloated, like it was.
Yeah,
there's too much stuff going on. To
get rid of some of the older campaigns.
Yep, and then unfortunately you can't really hop in to play any of that right now. So, yeah, man, I'm sure you have a million questions and things going on. So
yeah, the only reason I've started playing again is because I kept seeing a bunch of stuff for the game come up, the new campaign or DLC, whatever it is, and then I saw on the PlayStation Plus stuff, it was is it a legacy pack that gives you a bunch of the DLCs?
Yeah.
So I got that for free, and then I've just jumped back on. So I've not actually bought that Edge of Fate yet.
Sure. So let's start with this. What class did you start with?
Is it Hunter?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on him.
So you're on your Hunter? Okay. And then, so have you played any of the campaign activities, or where did it?
I've just been doing I've come back. I've literally downloaded it last night, jumped on this morning, and I've just kind of gone through a bunch of the quests. So
okay.
It's like speak to Ada 1, go here.
Gotcha.
Kind of just started going through the invitation, and I think it's the start of the Edge of Fate campaign.
Okay. So you did the first thing where you kind of landed on Kepler and did like an opening mission, had some flying green enemies.
I just started doing it then, and then I've just jumped out now.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can't even imagine, man. I mean, that's realistically what I'm trying to do. So obviously, you've probably somehow come across my videos and things like that, but
you were one of the TikTok videos that I seen that kind of I was like, you know what, actually, I'll give it another go.
So. Well, why don't you go ahead and maybe we can hop back into that Edge of Fate. We can just do that intro mission.
Normal or legend?
I would do normal. You can always go back and do the legend, but just to get a feel for things.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on a Titan, which is great. Because I love
Titans. Sorry, yeah.
So Titan's my main, so I can really help you with this one. So the first thing that's going to be helpful, and this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but I do have like a lot of videos on the new systems and things like that, and I tried to make it pretty approachable. But if you look at your character screen, since the last time you played, actually it was just July 15th that they made this change, but they've changed up how the armor stats work. And so they've put more information in the game, which should over time make it a little easier, but it's still pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, to start with.
So essentially what you have now, you have a health stat, and if you hover over them, they're on that right-hand side, the little icons with your white numbers on there.
Yeah.
You'll hover over them and it'll tell you, basically, there's the top area. So obviously it says health at the top, and then it has like a smaller grayer area. And then you'll see like health per orb and flinch resistance. So up from 0 to 100 stat points that is the benefit that you would get in increasing amounts. Basically, from that 0 to 100, for every stat point you get, you would get the benefit at the top of the line. So above that line, anything over 100, you will get the enhanced benefit, which is underneath the line. And you should see it's probably going to be grayed out if you're not over 100. And so
I'm like looking on my armor stuff now on my character page.
Yep.
And then you've got kind of, you hover over your like helmet or say whatever, and then a bunch of I've got a bunch of other helmets that appear. So
hover over, I'm sorry, it's to the left. It's the smaller white numbers that I'm referencing.
Oh, yeah, just to the left of the armors. Yeah,
exactly.
I see them.
So if you're hovering over the health stat, that top one with the plus sign, and you have 51 health right now. So you can see every orb that you pick up off the ground, you're going to get 35.7 HP back to your character, like when you pick that up. So you can kind of think of the orbs as just like little health packs around there, right? Yeah. And they can do different things. Like you can put mods on your boots that will cause picking up orbs to have various effects, as in it can start your healing immediately. It can give you more grenade energy or super, gains and stuff like that. And so as you move down these stats here, you don't have to understand, but basically you have health, you have melee, which does exactly what it sounds like. It tells you how long it's going to take for your melee to come back. And then if you get over 100 in your melee stat, you would get more damage for the melee. And so the same thing for grenade. It works the exact same way. Up to 100, it comes back faster. Over 100, it does more damage.
Okay, right. So I see. So say I picked a class that just focused on melee. Once it got above 100, I'd get the like increased melee cooldown, that'd go up, and then the enhanced benefit I'd get once it's over 100.
Exactly. So as you get more stats, it makes sense, right? Like that's how a lot of games work. It's like, well, you put more into melee, you're going to get better at melee. But that's not how it worked before this. So this is a better change, and it'll be interesting to get your perspective and others like you who come back after a long time and say, like, because when you last played, there were only 3 stats in the game.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, there were only 3 at the time. I don't even remember which ones they were, but there were only 3, and they kind of vaguely controlled different things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, as you go down the line, now the new ones that you're going to have in here, the health stat is kind of a newish one. The second from the bottom, the class stat, that is going to essentially do the same thing as the grenade and melee, except it's for your class ability. So on your Titan, your class ability is your big wall. So I think for you, if you hold circle, I think that puts up the wall. And then finally, the most brand new, which is not probably the proper way to say that, the hottest one is the weapon stat at the very bottom. And so if you get up to 100, you will reload faster. Your weapons will stow and come out faster. So when you swap between weapons, that will happen faster.
Just
and then up to 100, and then above 100, you'll get more ammo from bricks like that are on the ground, so special and heavy bricks. But then what's actually really nice about it is from 0 to 100, you will do more weapon damage against like the lower tier enemies. So minors, or red bars, things like that, and then majors, which have like the yellow bars. Above 100, you do more damage against bosses. So that's why you'll see a lot of people that are doing like high end game stuff. You're trying to get both your weapon stat as close to 200 as possible and your super stat, because your super does the same thing. You get more super energy back from 0 to 100. And then if you can get it as close to 200 as possible, that's when you do, if you get to 200 super, you can do 45% more damage with your super ability, which is insane. So we don't have a lot in the game that gives you much above a 30 to 35% is typically the biggest buff you're going to get to a weapon or an ability. Usually it sits between 15 and 30%. That's usually about the adjustment that Bungie's willing to give us. So being able to get up to 45% is a big deal. That's a That's something we don't do very often.
That's already clarified some stuff for me, because I was just going with, like, kind of, I was looking at, like, the health on every one of them, kind of going, all right, that's the highest one, I'll take that. But then if you look at other stuff, it'll give you better melee, less health, but then better weapons, better super.
Yep.
Okay.
Real quick, if you're enjoying this conversation with a returning Destiny 2 player and you would like to support content of this kind, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps more than I could say. But now let's get back to the conversation. So every single Guardian has the exact same amount of health. Your health stat only affects how easy it is to get that health back, how quick, kind of how quick it comes back, your overshield, because technically how it works is like you have a large shield, and then once your health bar goes to like that red and it starts beeping and stuff, that's basically, it's kind of like the old Halo days, right? Like where you've broken your shield and now you're just on your own health. And so that's kind of how it works. And so realistically, that is the armor stats. The other thing to understand is they have changed how the armors work. So if you've picked up any armor pieces, you're going to see the newer armor that drops, it will have one of 6 armor archetypes. In the past, you would see some armor pieces could have like, I don't know, like 5 stats in health and 5 in melee and then like 20 in grenade, and like they were all over the place. And it was super scattershot and you didn't know what you were getting into. But like you said, it's like, well, if I wanted to lean heavily into melee, they've given us avenues to kind of focus that and to do that more specifically. So you're going to look for armor that drops with certain archetypes on them. So the first one is like the Bulwark archetype. What that does is that's going to give the primary stat that will drop on a piece of armor will be health. And the second will be your class, like your class ability. The Gunner would be weapons and grenade. The Specialist would be class and weapons. A Paragon would be super and melee. Brawler would be melee and health, and then Grenadier would be grenade and super. And so you don't have to memorize that. I literally just told you I don't even have them memorized.
So each one of them kind of buffs its own kind of stats.
Yes. So what you will see now on armor, you will only see 3 of the stats will have any stat points in them. Okay. So, for example, the last piece of armor that I received, it was a piece of Paragon armor. So that means that it prioritizes super first. So that's all. The one that it prioritizes is going to have the highest amount. And then the second one is going to be obviously the second most. And then it chooses one of the other stats at random to give you a third. So my super stat was a 29 stat. So that's a good amount of super for one helmet, right? And then a melee, which was 18 as the second. And then it chose at random to give me 12 points in grenade. So that's fine. You know,
so
things
the first
like
2 will always be the same. The third one's a random one.
Exactly. And so that's how you play into it. And you say, okay, well, so for our example, if you were looking to play into health and melee, you would try to get armor that had the Brawler archetype on it. So melee would be first, health would be your second. And then you're looking to just see, okay, what's the random third one going to be? And you can mix and match and min-max that stuff over time. The one question I do have, if you go onto your character screen and you go down to your ghost shell, and if you click on that to where, because you can put some mods on your ghost.
Oh, ghost mods, okay.
What you're probably going to want in the first slot all the way to the left, you're going to want to put the blinding light mod on.
At the moment, it's only showing the flickering light.
Okay, so choose that one. Go ahead and choose that.
Yeah.
And then, can you go 2 over to the right and check that box?
The activity mod or the economic mod?
It would be economic.
Okay. So on all of them, it's saying not enough energy.
Okay. If you click up on the bar where it would have like the little segments of the ghost.
Oh, right. Jesus Christ.
You can just add a little bit of energy up there.
I think I can just max that out because I've got like 400,000 glimmer.
There you go. And that may actually give you the ability to increase that flickering light up to a different one.
Yeah. So like, I'm gonna, because I've got 10 energy. I'm gonna assume it's a mix and match game in it. You don't want to spend all your energy on one.
So you want to put as much energy in that first one as you can, just because that's going to give you the most XP gains.
So I can use that for 6.
Perfect. And then I would go to the economic mod socket and let me know, do you see the armor? You should see some mods in there for armor, like archetypes.
Yeah, gunner armor, bulwark armor.
I would do, if I were you, I would do either a paragon, meaning you're going to have high super, high melee, or brawler, high melee, high health.
So I've got a paragon, which will cost me 2 energy. And then I've got, which was the other one you said?
Brawler would be the other one. And you'll only be able to choose one. It's just up to you if you want to focus on super.
You can only have one of them on at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got a paragon armor and a brawler armor.
So do you want to focus on super as your primary stat or melee as your primary stat?
What would you suggest?
I would go with the paragon armor.
Okay. Got that.
Okay. And then let's do this. Let's play through the rest of this campaign mission here. And then we'll get a feel for actual like, you know, what you're doing, the combat stuff. And then we may have to run to... Did you have to buy anything in the tower, like any stuff for your subclass from Ikora or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I've been to the tower to just kind of start some like little quests off.
Okay.
But I haven't really bought anything.
Well, let's go through the rest of this real quick, and then we'll do that, because I think that's going to be helpful, especially if you're on Titan. I'll just get you set up with a really, really solid build that you basically will be able to survive about anything, you know, within reason.
What just happened?
Just come on through. This is like a little portal mechanic they have. Let's do this real quick. If you can click on the portal, and then up in the top right, you'll see the tower as an option.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the tower real quick. Here's what I'll do. I'll put on, because right now you're on an Arc Titan. They have added a few things. So if you go into your character screen while we're flying in, and you click on the little arc diamond at the top left.
Yeah, you've got your Sentinel and Sunbreaker.
Yep. So go into the arc subclass, because arc is the strongest one on Titan currently that you have access to. Now Prismatic, which comes from, Prismatic is the combination of light and dark subclasses that comes from the Final Shape campaign.
Yeah.
That is technically the strongest, but there's a lot of nuance there.
That's a DLC, which is trying to tell me to buy.
I gotcha. Well, I figured if you, I guess, yeah, the Final Shape you wouldn't have gotten, because you would have gotten all the older campaigns before that.
Yeah, so it comes with the Lightfall, Witch Queen, Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, Forsaken, Pits of Heresy, Shattered Throne, and Grasp of Avarice dungeons.
Honestly, that's a pretty dang good deal. Sometimes I wish I could go back and experience all that stuff for the first time again.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. I've had people ask me, it's like, well, where would you start if you were starting again? I think for right now, starting where you're starting, I think playing through the Edge of Fate is a good option, but there's a lot of free stuff you can do and you have access to right now that you don't have. Real quick, you may remember this, but just a real quick, this Postmaster here, this is where you're going to be able to get access to any stuff that doesn't drop or that can't go into your inventory here.
Where did you just go then? I can't see.
Come over to the left here. You'll see I have a green, my name and green dot. So this Postmaster, this is the stuff that you leave on the ground or stuff that can't fit into your inventory. Yeah. But you wanna keep an eye on it. Every time you come here, you just make sure that's cleaned out, because if it gets full,
make sure there wasn't anything big.
Yeah, if it gets full, it will push out the earliest item that went in there. This here is the cosmetic store. Next to it, you'll get various amounts of bright dust as rewards, and that can be turned into cosmetics. Sometimes you'll get those bright engrams. This is Zavala. Zavala had a bigger purpose. We're trying to figure out what his purpose is going to be in the Edge of Fate. We had a lot of strikes. We had like Nightfall missions and stuff like this. But he has these Vanguard Arms Day rewards. I wouldn't pick these up yet, because you can pick them up at any time during the week. And if you hit a point where, let's say you were playing and for some reason you could not get some legs to drop and your legs were really lacking behind everything else, you could come to Zavala Zavala and pick it up, because your armor gains are an average of what your power across everything. So let's say you were at 100 on every piece and then you're at like 85 on your legs. You would come to Zavala and he might be able to help you bump your legs up. So you could do that. Shaxx over here. Shaxx is the Crucible vendor. So if you play any PvP, he'll have rewards here that you can get.
For like in-game on.
Yep, you can get some engram stuff like that from Shaxx. Do that, and then all right, let's head this way.
Just a question I've got. Where do I see my inventory? An exotic cipher. Is that you can get an exotic out of that, can't you?
Yes. So you can come to here. You have your vault here, and you can actually access your vault now from your character anywhere. That is a big quality of life change that Bungie made.
Exotic isn't always the best, though, is it?
So exotic armors are always going to have, obviously they're going to have their enhanced benefits that makes them exotic, but their stats could be lower in theory than some of the highest tier like legendary or purple armor. So you know, it's a little niche, right? Like if you want to make sure you have some synergy with it. So there are some
kind of finding the balance.
Yeah, so say there are some pieces that are specifically for Arc Titan, like what you're running, and then there are some pieces that are for Solar Titans. And if you're wearing the wrong piece, like let's say you had a misunderstanding, there's no reason to be running an exotic piece that doesn't synergize with what you're building.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So do you have exotic armors?
Well, I've just put I've got an exotic helmet, the Kepri's Horn.
Okay.
Exotic arms, AC/DC, zero feedback fence.
That actually will synergize really well with what you're playing right now. So I would just keep those on for now. You can use that exotic cipher here on this monuments. So I wouldn't buy anything quite yet with it because those are actually pretty hard to come by, those ciphers. But that is where you can. Over here to your right, you're going to have Master Rahul, where he's going to be able to, when you get certain engrams, like exotic engrams or various engrams that you'll get in the world, that you'll come to Rahul and he will help you decrypt those.
That's what I thought the cipher was. I think this is what I can remember from the start. It might be different or I might be being stupid, but you could get something that basically you could go and claim for a random exotic item.
Yeah, so if you get exotic engrams out in the world, you'll want to come here to Rahul and then turn them in. Now, some of the exotic weapons are now on like a punch out list, because you can just reacquire exotic weapons from your collections at any time. So if you, back in the day, let's say you got any exotic weapons, you could go into your character screen, tab over to the collections, and then click on exotic, and you would be able to see if you have access to any that were from that year one time.
Okay.
To be honest, a lot of them are still really good. They've buffed
like the original stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they're still good. The exotics from the original game are actually in pretty good shape. Over here, Gunsmith, he's going to have a variety of weapons available that rotate. I think they rotate on a weekly basis. These bounties are a great way to get XP, and they're easy, right? So I like to just basically, when I come in here, I just pick up all these Gunsmith bounties, and they're just get kills with weapons. That's basically all it is.
It's kind of stuff. It'll just happen over time.
Yep. And so you just do that, and it'll tell you. It'll give you an idea of like, hey, use auto rifles and sidearms and swords. And it's like, well, I don't usually play with those, but if you have a bounty for them, it kind of gives you a reason to try different weapons and things like that. And then over here, so we come over into this area. There are a couple more vendors over here. So this is new from year one. Actually, they just made this change last year. Over in this section here, Xur, who I'm sure you've seen before, he's the dude who has like the tentacles on his face. He comes here once a week from Friday at Daily Reset until Tuesday at Daily Reset. Xur will be standing right here, and he will have a collection of items that you can buy by turning in strange coins. And you just get those from playing things in the portal at this point. So as you're going, I think you can just get them in the open world as well. But I know that you can pretty reliably get them from portal activities. And the portal is one of the better ways to level up your character right now, especially if you don't own the Edge of Fate. Playing through that stuff.
Portal?
So if you hold down, I think it's your like option, whatever the left one is.
Yeah.
Where you get you'll get the screen of like the map of the tower. Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm on the map, yeah.
Tab with the right bumper, I believe, over to Portal.
Yeah. Solo, Fireteam, Pinnacle, Crucible.
Yep. So they're basically exactly what they sound like. So the solo, those are going to be activities that you can only play by yourself. You can have a wide range of difficulties. They will unlock based on, like, as you are growing as a character. In character power, things of that sort.
Oh yeah, requires 90, 180, 270.
Exactly. So you can click on those. Now, this is actually a brand new system. So this is something that they just put in the game this year. This expansion. So it's like last week. So as you come through here, what you're going to see, you're going to have some items, some activities that will have, say, like I have one here that says you can do it and you'll get boots. Like, it's a bonus focus. You'll get boots for that one. So I'm like, okay, that's great.
So like solo op salt mines, yeah, that says.
Yep.
Tech boots if you're grade B or higher.
Yep. So if you get a grade B or higher when you do that activity, this is by yourself. A lot of the times there's going to be some sort of, say, objective in there. It could be getting precision kills, like headshots. It could be getting ability kills. It could just be killing every enemy, things like that. And that will push your score higher. And then this will guarantee that you would get some legs. The other thing you may see, I don't know if you'll have any at this point, but you will see at times these little green engram icons, and that stands for a bonus drop. You can get those randomly by completing portal activities. So if you do, let's say none of these had like a bonus drop on them and you just ran that salt mines one, when you finish it, you may see that, oh, I was rewarded a bonus drop. What that means is it's going to put on one of these squares here that you can select one of these activities an additional drop. So you go run that mission next. And then when you run that one, you're going to get 2 drops, right? You're going to get the original one that you would. So this is kind of a good thing where with new systems, when they put new systems in the game, they have to kind of pull from old systems, meaning like old expansions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's for the activities, right? The levels that they're putting in. So a lot of this stuff in the solo ops is actually pretty new. It's like repurposed areas. But if you go into the fire team ops, that is up to teams of 3.
Okay.
A lot of this stuff is actually older activities, but it would all be brand new to you, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So everything that's in here is going to be brand new to you, which is really cool. It's a cool place to be in, and you get to experience all of it. So you go through here and you can choose and say, oh, okay, I see Battleground Delve has a bonus focus on the helmet. So if you were playing and you had every piece was at 100 power, but your helmet was at 95, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go run this Battleground to even it out, right? And I know I need to get a B grade or higher. I get that. Oh, that was a 99. So maybe it wasn't exact 100, but it brings it up closer,
something
right?
better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what you're playing that game, right? You're trying to use this. This is what I would do as a new player. I would go through and I would look at this portal screen and I would try to punch in. So look at your character, say, okay, I could benefit right now from getting legs, arms, and a heavy weapon. Like those are the 3 lowest. Come in here. Yeah. See if any of them are specifically showing one of those 3. If so, go ahead and do it. Knock it out. If none of them are showing something like that, the next thing I would do is look for the green engram icon. If none of them are showing that, then you kind of just got to play. You know, you just got to...
Until you get one, yeah.
Exactly. You just go through and check things out. So what interests you? And then as you get higher on your power progression, you will actually unlock the ability to raise the stakes a little bit. So if you're on the solo op and let's say you click on, say like the salt mines or something of that sort, you could in theory customize it and it gives you the ability to actually play how you want to. So let's say you want to keep it at a simpler difficulty, like a normal difficulty, but you're okay with locking your loadout. And so what that means is like you would not be able to swap your armor or your weapons or any abilities, things like that. If you're like, no, that's fine. I don't really care much for swapping between. Then you can do that. And what Bungie has let us do is say, oh, that's going to give you a big score multiplier. Because a lot of people nowadays, they like to, myself included, it's like, well, I'll have a chest piece that's really good for surviving and just killing random enemies. But then I have another chest piece I want to put on to do big boss damage. right?
So when you get to the big boss, you can change between the gear that
exactly.
you have.
So Bungie says, you know what? We don't want you to do that. And so to keep you from doing that, we're going to go ahead and give you a benefit. So a lot of people are like, you're just playing this game, right? You're min-maxing saying, well, I don't like this type of enemy, so I'm not going to put that negative modifier on, but I don't mind this one. This one's not too bad. So you do that. That's going to make it a little harder. And then I'll lock my loadouts, and that's going to give me a multiplier. The higher your score gets, the better your rewards will be. So this is kind of like a play your way thing. And honestly, I would actually, when you get some time in on this, I personally would benefit really, really greatly from hearing what your experience is with this, because that would actually be, I'm not even gonna lie, that'd be a really good video to make and be like, hey, this is the experience. Because this has what a lot of people have said, that they say this as a negative, but I don't necessarily see it this way. They say this is like the Fortnite-ification of Destiny, meaning like in Fortnite, you can just click on like all sorts of different game modes from a screen and then you launch into it. And I'm like, but people launch into Destiny and they don't know what to do at all. And like this gives you like a punch list, right? And it's like, well, I got a couple hours to play. I'm gonna click, go check this out. I'm not lying at all. That would be genuinely helpful. Like after you get some hours under your belt, if you would message me and be like, hey man, these are my pros, cons, and it's an experience that myself and many people around me can never have, just because we've always played the game so long. So
yeah, it's what you're used to now.
Yep. So, well, that was a long yap session. There's a couple more things. I know you said you talked to Ada 1, but I want you to come down here if you can. And this is the real reason I want to come over here. You want to talk to Ikora, and she's going to have all sorts of things for your character classes. If you will go into, you want to focus on the arc ones first real quick.
Oh, grow your light.
Yep, you were on the right thing. So you want to make sure that you go through these different like ability rectangles that are on here, and you want to pick up anything that you can. Now, how much glimmer do you have?
292,000.
Okay, so let's do this first. Can you go into the supers one, which will be that top left?
I've got them both.
You got them both? Perfect.
The only ones I don't have are the grenade ones.
How about for the bottom two, aspects and fragments?
So a Storm's Keep is the only one I'm missing.
You certainly want that.
Okay, I bought that one.
And then for fragments, if you can, I'd go ahead and grab them all. You want all of these over time. But if you were glimmer poor, or you were running into a situation where you didn't have any, I'd say you can kind of pick and choose. But
so I've got everything that I can. The rest of them from like the Spark of Irons onward. Well, I've got the Spark of Discharge, Spark of Focus, and the Spark of Magnitude. Everything else is saying requires Guardian rank 3. Sorry, now.
So let's do this real quick. So go back into your character screen now. Oh, actually, I think when you come out of that, you'll have to come talk to this little.
Yeah, so just on the ones I've just bought, it says meditate to receive new subclass ability.
Yep. So if you come out of your menu real quick and you come over here, you should have some sort of activate right behind you here.
Oh yeah.
Should have a thing on this right here where you can meditate. I don't know why they make you do that. They should just do it like they want to be dramatic, but
yeah. Alright, I've got everything now.
Okay, so go into your character screen real quick, and let's go up to that Striker Titan, the Arc. Click into it. First thing, you want to put on Thundercrash as your super.
Where do I see that?
So it'll be the big diamond on the left-hand side.
Oh, right, yeah. Thundercrash.
And then you're going to want to... This will give you a really good build here to get you rolling. So for your abilities, I would suggest doing Rally Barricade, and then I would do Strafe Lift for your jump.
Got that one.
You want to do Thunderclap for your melee.
Got that one.
And then you want to do Pulse Grenade.
Got that one.
Perfect. Aspects, you want to do Storm's Keep, and then you want to do Knockout.
What do these things do?
So aspects are large build shaping foundational things is how I like to think of it. And then think of it as like fragments are going to slot into those things. That's kind of how I view it. Is like aspects are larger pieces of your build. So what Storm's Keep does, when you use your wall, so when you use your Rally Barricade, and you stand behind it, it's going to give you what's known as Bolt Charge. You can think of it as like if you were rubbing your hand on a balloon or something like that, and then you get like static. If you're standing behind your barricade and you shoot your gun, when you get to 10 stacks of Bolt Charge, so it's going to go up 1, 2, 3, all the way up to times 10, you will strike that enemy with like a big bolt of energy on top of your weapon damage you're already dealing.
Okay.
So it's very nice, very strong, and you typically can only discharge that like times 10 bolt charge through an ability, meaning like a melee grenade, something of that sort. But standing behind your wall as a Titan, that will allow your weapon damage to discharge it. So it's kind of the safest way to use the bolt charge stuff, and it's nice for a little extra damage on top. Knockout is quite possibly the strongest aspect in the entire game. When you get a melee kill on a Titan, meaning either with that thunderclap melee that you put on, or just a unpowered melee, meaning just like a basic punch.
Just a punch.
It will heal you. So, and what it does is it makes you amplified. So there are all these little verbs they have in the game, things like this that do different things, and they give you little tooltips in the game. So if you like hover over knockout, you'll see it says amplified, and then you'll see like a box in the top, like a black and gray box that says
movement
amplified.
Speed and weapon handling are greatly increased after sprinting for a short time.
But the main thing that it doesn't say in here, which is super helpful, is that you also are harder to hit by enemies. Like enemies have a harder time hitting you with their weapon damage and stuff when you're amplified. Think of it as like you get juiced up, like you start moving faster, you start running faster, things of that sort.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of health benefits passively. Okay, well, if you can't hit me, you're not going to kill me, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So knockout should nearly always stay on if you're on Arc, just because it is so strong. Storm's Keep is pushing it as far as like it's a strong contender as well. Yeah. Until they nerf one of these two, I will probably never take these off of my Titan. They're so strong. And then for your fragments, they are smaller adjustments, but they do adjust your character. So the first one that I would say is if you can put on, it's called Spark of Resistance. I don't know if you have that one.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, perfect. That's the triangle one. You want to put that on. The next one would be Spark of Brilliance I have on. That may be on a second. Yeah, that might be on a second page.
I've not unlocked that one yet.
Okay. Do you have Spark of Ions?
Do you want me to read them out to you?
Sure.
Okay, so I've got the Spark of Beacons.
Okay.
Spark of Momentum, Spark of Shock, Spark of Magnitude, Recharge, Focus, Frequency, Discharge, Volts, and Feedback.
So I would do Spark of Recharge and Spark of, did you say Magnitude?
Magnitude, yeah, I've got Magnitude.
Okay, I would do that as another one. And then last space, how about Frequency? So some of this has to do with the benefits on these, but these are smaller benefits. What this mostly has to do for a lot of people is you'll see at the bottom, like if you look at Spark of Resistance, it gives you plus 10 to your melee stat. And so sometimes it's better to just focus on the benefit that you'll get at the bottom, like the plus 10 plus whatever. But some of them have a negative modifier, right? Like the fragment is strong enough, as in, let's see here, it was Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt targets. Well, that takes away 10 from your grenade stat. So that's how they kind of balance it out a little bit. It's just something to think about. But where you're at, I would just say, since you only have a few, it's like, well, let's try to find the ones that have the most usability, things of that sort.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're pretty much set up on the Arc Titan side of things. And then the last piece that I'll say, we should go shoot our guns a little bit, because we're playing in the menus a lot, which is fine. I mean, that's a bit of it. But the last thing that we'll go through real quick is your helmet. When you're looking at your helmet, you're gonna have mods. You're gonna do mods for like finder bricks, like ammo finder bricks. If you say, okay, I know this is a boss encounter, I need to have heavy ammo available to me, you can put a mod on your helmet that will give you access to basically increase the amount of heavy ammo, like how often heavy ammo is gonna drop, or special ammo, based on what you're running.
I've only just seen these mods. I didn't realize they were a thing.
Yep. On your arms, you can do things like reloader mods. So let's say you really like a weapon that is arc. You can put an arc reloader mod on, and that will just help that reload stat a little faster. And you can kind of explore through some of these mods and the things that happen there. One thing I will say, if you have trouble or you find yourself in a place where you're dying quite a bit, you may want to put on your chest piece some resistance mods. So you'll see that you have some different elemental resistance. So some of them could be, okay, we're doing some sort of boss that's shooting a bunch of void energy at us, and like, man, that thing just burnt me up. Well, let's throw on a void resist,
I see that.
concussive dampener, will be big area of effect things, as in big blasts that come in, maybe something that's going to hit the wall behind you, you know, and could kind of burn you out, something of that sort.
Yeah.
Sniper resist, melee resist, so those kind of make sense, right? Like what we're doing with those. And then on your legs, you can put on what are known as scavenger mods. Basically, when you pick up a brick of ammo, so let's say you have a solar heavy weapon on, like your heavy weapon does solar damage. If you put a solar scavenger on, when the game senses that you pick up an ammo brick, if you have a scavenger mod on, that means that that ammo brick is going to have more ammo inside of it. So it makes those drops, the ammo brick drops, worth more to you.
Yeah.
Which can be very, very helpful. I don't necessarily think the stuff you're getting into right now it's going to make the most difference.
Yeah.
But later on, there was the day one like contest mode raid this weekend, and like people were trying to do the new raid. That was huge. Like any ammo drops, you had to juice your ammo drops as much as humanly possible. So you can do that. The other thing that's really, really strong on legs that you might want to think about is what we talked about earlier, where you can change the functionality of the orbs that you pick up on the ground. So you're going to have some mods. One that I suggest you kind of always run is Better Already. It costs 1 energy, and it looks like it has a little shield with an up arrow over top of it.
Oh, Better Already. Yeah, I see it.
Yep. So you want to do that one. And then the other one that it kind of got nerfed this season, but the other one that's really good as well is Recuperation. So that's going to give you a little bit. So before this season, I was everywhere I went, basically I was running 1 Recuperation mod, 1 Better Already mod, meaning that every time I picked up an orb, I would get a burst of health, meaning like instantly. It's like it was a health pack. It hit me. And then Better Already would mean that my health would start regenerating, because sometimes there's like a delay, right? Like you take damage and then it takes a few seconds before your health comes back.
Yeah.
So if you pick up an orb, you can benefit from that. They lessened the effect of the Recuperation mod, and they kind of put it into your health stat. If you put more health in, you kind of get the benefit that Recuperation used to give you, but it still has a little bit of an effect and could be helpful. But yeah, the Better Already is probably your best. And then you're going to have what are weapon surges, meaning you can, if you pick up an orb of power, essentially you're going to juice up the damage of whatever energy you select. So those are the mods there that have like the 3 dots under them.
Oh, the void weapon surge.
Exactly.
Strand weapons. Yeah, okay.
So when you pick up 1 orb of power, you're going to gain what's known as an armor charge. It's a whole different system. I'm realizing as we're talking through this, I have so many videos that I can make on this stuff, just breaking them down. If you pick up an orb of power, it's going to make your weapon of the matching element stronger, is essentially what you need to know about that. Sense. And so these are all the ways you can kind of like play into it, right? So you can say, well, I'm not really worried about my weapons being strong right now. Maybe you're just killing enemies in a mission and it's not like a huge boss encounter. It's like, well, you know, I'll do this and make this easier, or I want to get my grenades back faster, stuff like that. And then on your Titan mark, so your class item, there are a few things down there. They all kind of play into the armor charge system, meaning like you pick up an orb of power and then you can do a finisher. I don't know. Have you done a finisher since you've been in here?
Probably not.
When you're going to kill an enemy, you'll get like a little yellowish, goldish circle over top their head. But you do that, and what you'll do is it'll basically put you into an animation where you just do a cool, like, stylish animation, and you can like finish the enemy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a Mortal Kombat finisher, not as brutal, but a little bit. So, all right, let's do this. I think this will be good. If you want to, because I've just been yapping this whole time.
No, man, I've honestly, these mods and stuff like this, I probably never would have even looked at them.
Sure.
If I wasn't, you know, if you didn't tell me about them, I didn't have a clue.
I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Shout out to Kurt M for allowing me to use our private conversation for the betterment of the public Destiny community. Let me know what you guys thought about this conversation, whether or not it was insightful, or did I get something wrong? Should I have included something? Anything would be helpful, because I would like to do more of these in the future. If you haven't already, hop in the Discord, find the link in my channel bio, and until next time, be blessed, y'all.